Hi guys, this is the Change and Grow Wellness Show, the show for you, the busy professional who wants to live a healthier, happier life with increased energy and productivity. This show is powered by the amazing Men and Women of Power Positive program. So, I'm your host, Jackie Grant, and I'm on the mission to balance females' hormones with all natural solutions. And tonight our guest is Christine Innes. Did I say your surname right?
Ines. That's okay.
Innes.
Ines, yeah.
There we go, Innes. And we're going to be talking about how to get rid of toxic people out of your life. Christine is an empowerment coach who guides and inspires me and empowers women to be inspired and be you. So welcome, Christine, to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Cool. So, Christine, tell us a little bit about you and, why you do what you do.
So I really fell into this based on my personal story. So a few years ago, I was in a very toxic relationship. I was broke. I was broken. I got diagnosed with two life-changing illnesses. So really hit complete rock bottom and really needed to rebuild my life and really get back to who I really was. I didn't know who I was. And
Mm,
as I started sharing my journey and my story, so many women were going, "Oh wow, like how did you do it?" and wanted to find out more. So I was able to use my corporate experience in management and coaching, and I've done obviously some more courses in that to really be able to, create a plan and a course for women that can really allow them to strip back the layers, to really uncover who they are, their true authentic self, and really
mm.
reclaim their lives and live it on their own terms. Because I feel that, there's so much happening in our lives that we sometimes forget who we are and really what lights us up and what our true passion and purpose is in life.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that is, us as women because we've got so many labels and, it's can be really difficult for us to, just think about us and think about what we want and think about the direction that we want to go in. So, Christine, what would you say is a toxic person anyway?
There's a couple of different things, obviously there's people that will obviously want to try and put you down to make themselves feel better. But there's
Mm,
also people in your life that are going to, if you just feel that, it's the energy is zapped, and I call them energy vampires, that if you're around them, you constantly just go, "Oh my goodness, I feel like I need to have a nap," or, like I'm really tired and exhausted just being around them, and it's all constantly about them. And they
mm.
don't like you being positive or you being in a good state of mind. And they're the sort of people that, I call, as I said, the energy vampires that, just really suck the life out of you and, don't like to see you succeed, or, they're not happy within themselves, that they try to put you down to make themselves feel better.
Mm. And what would you say that someone could do in that instance? Because, I can think of a number of times when there's been people in my life that have, kind of, they don't, sometimes I think that they can't actually see it. You might be saying to them, look, mate, can you, just let's go on a positive note right now. But they always draw it back to them and what's going
Yes.
on for them, and they tend not to listen to you. So what things can people be doing?
There's a couple of different things. I think probably the biggest thing is to actually set really clear boundaries for yourself. So, really know what your core values are. So, I have 10 core values that I live by, and I have obviously my top three. So, it's about trust, honesty, and also respect. And if I
Mm,
find that those people aren't valuing that, then I'm okay. And I guess over time, I've learned how to sort of step back and not allow them to encroach in my sort of personal circle as well. But I think sometimes that we need to also speak up. We need to actually say, well, I don't see that, how you perceive that, but it's okay. We can have differences of opinions
mm,
with it. But I also think sometimes a lot of people don't value how grateful they should be for what they currently have in their life. So a
mm,
lot of the times it's about them focusing on the lack of instead of what they actually have. So
mm,
it could be that, oh, I have, a lack of clients, like in, for people in business, but we could reverse that and go, well, I'm actually grateful for the time that I have right now to be able to focus on my well-being, focus on, growing my business and, doing more training. Or it could be, for people, it's that they're like going, oh, my job sucks, or, all this sort of stuff. And it's just like, oh, well, you should be grateful that you have an income coming in right now.
mm,
And I think
mm,
sometimes if we can change the way to get them to perceive it, there is
mm,
always going to be people who won't get that. It's like, as you said, they're just constantly the, negative Nancy's out there that are always, everything has to be negative or everything has to be a problem. But as
mm,
long as you have set those boundaries yourself, that then you will actually start to be able to go, you know what, maybe this is not the sort of person that I want in my life, or maybe
mm,
they're just going to be an acquaintance and you don't need to allow them into your own inner personal circle as
mm,
well.
mm. And just what you were saying previously about like relationships, sometimes this happens, and sometimes that kind of toxicity that that person has is what keeps someone in that relationship. They're
Yes.
not actually seeing that this person is very toxic, that they're bringing them down, but it's because that person's given a different type of affection to them, so they keep getting drawn back to that person. So what would you say to, like, someone that might be in a relationship that's feeling a bit like, this person's a bit toxic, but actually I'm getting some loving in another way, you know
Yeah. I can definitely relate. That was very much me in being in a toxic relationship, and it took me pretty much 8 years to realize that it was a toxic relationship. And sometimes it is because we don't value ourselves and we don't actually like who we are. And I think sometimes the more inner work that we can do with ourselves, and give ourselves that self validation, stop looking outside. And a lot of the time is because, well, for myself, it was that, I didn't really know who I was.
mm,
I didn't give myself the self love and the self care that I needed.
mm,
And I don't want to say the word respect, but it is sort of like a level of respect for yourself as well.
mm,
And I
mm,
think sometimes that we could just be in that kind of place or in that mindset. But when you start building yourself back up, when you start valuing yourself and start taking time out for you, then you start realizing, okay, something's a little bit off, and you start getting these little inklings happening around you, and then you go, oh, maybe it is not me, maybe it
yeah,
is that person. And then to have a look, but it's always good to have a look at other positive relationships out there as well, not to
mm,
compare, but just to see how the interactions are happening as well, because not every perfection doesn't exist in my world. I took that word out of my vocabulary because it's
mm,
just unattainable. But if you look at positive relationships and how they work as well, you start to get an idea that maybe something is not right, or, maybe I need to try something a little bit differently, and how I can actually get that right interaction. And
mm.
how I can, and sometimes it's also how we react to the situation as well.
Mm, definitely. I mean, it's definitely true that we need to do a bit more, self care, a bit more loving ourselves. So actually having that understanding of ourselves, understanding of our wants, our needs. And if we're not getting those things, from that relationship, then, we need to kind of move on. But, it can be a struggle for people to do that. But it's also good to, if you've got someone that's a good friend that, will be able to support you, not like try and go, no, just leave him, like some people generally do,
Yeah.
you know, but actually having that kind of mutual respect with them and having that conversation that you can come up with a plan of how you're going to do that. So, yeah, it's really, really important. So, you know, when we think about ourselves, and making sure that we're not toxic towards other people, what would you think would be the key things that we need to think about, you know, in, not actually doing that? Because I know a lot of the time that, like you're saying, what did you say, Nancy? I always say Debbie Downer,
Yes,
um,
negative Nancy's and Debbie
negative
Downers.
Nancy. That's what you said. Negative Nancy. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Debbie Downer's my one. Yeah, negative Nancy. But sometimes we can come up with that. What do you think? Because I tend to try and do like some rituals in the morning, and try to kind of make my morning mine. So, really try and think about some visualization, think about some affirmations in the morning. And those kind of things are the things that you're talking about that people should do
Yeah,
for
definitely.
themselves.
I really love affirmations, but gratitude is probably one of the biggest things that people can do. And I think if you can write 10 things that you're grateful for, and it could just be, I think we need to go simpler and to go through, like for me, like, every day I say I'm grateful for a hot shower because, we sometimes forget that it's just there. But I'm grateful because I've got the ability to pay to have hot water. I've got the ability to wake up in a bed. A few years ago, I was sleeping on my parents' couch. That's how, rock bottom I hit. So just those tiny little things to actually remember that what you're having to be grateful for and to get back to those basics, it really sets you up for the day so that when something happens, when someone smiles at you, at the shop or something like that, you sort of go, oh, wow, like that's something else to be grateful for. And I think it starts opening our whole mindset. It opens up, our heart and, our mind to be able to receive that back in, because sometimes we can actually be blocked because we're constantly thinking of all the negative or all the other things that aren't going right in our life. Whereas we start thinking about all the things that are going right now.
Mm, that's great. That's amazing. So, Christine, tell us a bit more about you as an empowerment coach. What does that actually mean? Because I'm sure a lot of people are thinking empowerment coach. You know, tell us a bit more about that.
So, really, what it is about getting women to really reclaim their lives and giving them the tools to be able to do that. And I go back to even basics such as going, let's start dreaming about what is your ideal day? What does that actually look like? Because sometimes we lose our creativity, sometimes we lose the ability to just even dream a little bit, to sort of do it. But it's really making sure that women know just how amazing they really are, and they actually have all the information and all the tools that they have inside of them. It's just sort of uncovering that and allowing them to open it up a little bit more and draw upon that. And I talk a lot about, core values, and finding what brings them joy, because a lot of the times that, as you said before, we have all of these labels on us. We say that we're daughters, we're aunts, we're sisters, we're mums, like, it's our job. And we need to sort of strip all that away and actually go back to who the core person actually is. And, that's, descriptions such as, you're kind, you're caring, you're compassionate, you're determined, all those sorts of things, because that really describes exactly who you are. And when you know who you are, then you can actually really set a really clear path of where you want to be and in the
Mm,
future. And it opens up this amazing new world that you sort of go, oh my goodness, have I been having blinkers on for my whole entire life and not knowing,
mm,
what I want to do or where I want to be? But so much more is that about just allowing women to know and giving them, as I said, like really inspiring them and empowering them to really reclaim their lives and to just sort of go, if you've been wanting to start a business or you've been wanting to change, careers, or to say that you're not just a mum, you're not just, this little thing in a compartment, and really expanding your horizon. And I do allow adding a little bit of spirituality in there, a little bit of woo woo, obviously talking about, gratitude and journaling and a little bit of meditation in that as well, just to really combine it and to make it a very holistic sort of experience for women as well.
mm. And like, so When people find you, Christy, like what were they looking for when they found you?
A lot of the times that they've been stuck in a rut, and they're sort of, they think that, oh, I have the career, I have the house, I have the car, and I go on holidays, but there's something missing inside, and they sometimes feel like they're a little bit selfish because they go, well, from the outside everyone thinks that I have it all, but there's just something missing inside of them. And it
Mm,
really is about just going, they're not sure who they are anymore, because a lot of the time, it's that, if I talk about, women that are similar to how I was a few years ago, that, I was in the career, I had the house, I had the car, like everything like that. But
mm,
something was still missing. And it was because I
mm,
didn't really know who I was, or I wasn't doing things that was lighting me up and really, living each day with so much passion and joy with it
yeah,
as well. I
cool.
call it sleepwalking through life. Just
Yeah,
like every day, you just keep going and going. But
yeah,
now I sort of wake up and I'm like, going, oh my God, it's just amazing. Like, and I'm not saying I have these days every single day, because we all have like ups and downs and stuff. But, it's more about really enjoying life and living it with so much passion and purpose, and, doing what you love. And life's too
exactly.
short.
Exactly, you're completely right, because I'd say I was in a days at at some point when I was like in my past life working as a senior manager, and you just go on day to day and you are working so hard you're not even looking at yourself anymore. You're just working and you're just vibing, but you're not really enjoying life, you
Yeah.
know. And I think it's quite a lot when you do a job, more so. I mean, I find now that I have my own time and I'm making my own time. I have clients in when I want to have clients in, and my time is set for me and exactly what I want to do. It's a complete change to what I had. I'd be thinking Sunday night. Sunday night I'd be going, oh God, it's going to be Monday soon. Do you know what
Mhm.
I mean? It'd be
Yes.
completely in my head. But now that doesn't even ever even, come into my head, like that thought. But I used to have that, that complete thought in my head. And it always used to like grate me that, oh no, why am I keep thinking, oh God, it's Sunday night. My weekend's over. Oh no, it's back to work. But
Yes.
now it's like, it's not even like the weekend is good, but it wasn't such that I needed it as much as I did then. So
Mm.
it's just completely different.
And it's good to have that balance. And I think a lot of the times that we forget the balance. So, we sort of sit in this up and down sort of motion as like the seesaw effect every single day. Whereas if you really get back to your true authentic self and you live that, and one of the biggest things that I've found with women that I've coached is that once they know who they are, that they sort of go, oh, it's just so much easier being me, and
Mm,
they're not having to constantly fake things. They're not constantly having to always be happy if they're not, and it's okay. And one of the big things I sort of say to them, get in touch with your emotions. Like if you're angry, that's okay, feel it. If you're sad, feel it. And so many
yeah,
times, like, not being in touch with those emotions, and I think that's one of the other big things, is that to really recognize these toxic people, to recognize these people that are no good, is because we're not in touch with our emotions as well.
yeah. Definitely, definitely. I mean, that's such a big one, because if you're not in touch with your emotions, not it's even like, where I work with clients around, their health. If you're not in touch with how your body feels, how
Mm.
food impacts on it, all those things can, disrupt, your just your nervous system, just everything
Yeah.
about you. So you've got to be so connected and so aware of what's going on for you, that so that you have the ability to then support your family, support your friends, and all the good people in your life. So
Yeah.
it's so important.
Yeah.
So go on. Was you going to
I was
say
just going to
something?
say, it's like a ripple effect that when you really do the work for yourself, the ripple effect is immense because it will go through to your friends, to your family, and you can really help change their lives as well. Like, I just know the impact that the journey that I've gone on, everyone's like, oh my God, like I love being around you because you're so positive, like, so
Yeah,
uplifting
yeah,
and that. And that has made such a big difference because, when I wasn't in a good place, like who wants to be around you when you're, constantly
no,
down, but now everyone's like, oh, come on, when are we going out for coffee? Like,
yeah,
they want to be around you. So I really think your energy really attracts your tribe as well. So if you think of the energy that you're putting out, they're the people that are going to come into your life.
yeah. No, it is so true, and it's funny because I met up with an old friend that I actually went to school with. Yeah, we actually met. We were about 11, so this is we worked out. It's like 36 years ago. I was like, shut up. So anyway, and it's so funny because she came to one of my classes that I was teaching, and she was like, "Oh my God, I can't believe it's you. Do you remember you were like this, not really talking to anyone, you weren't really
Mm,
out there?" And like for someone to actually say that to you, that they see such a complete difference from when you were a kid to when to, even though it's not even that a kid, because we still were, you go in and out of being friends with someone from school, and she probably the last time she saw me was 5 6 years ago, but she's never seen me teach a class or anything like that. So she was like, oh my God, this is so amazing. But it is because of all the work that I've done on myself, and the change of actually not actually doing things that I don't want to do.
yeah,
So all these things completely help you to move on in your life and to have good things come towards you, really. So it's really important that people do that. So Christine, let's tell me your final words for our audience. What
be
final
kind
thoughts
to
have you?
yourself. Just be kind to you. I think sometimes that what I find a lot with, just even friends and family that, when you talk to them is that they will say stuff about themselves like, oh my God, you silly woman, or, you do this. But if you wouldn't say that to somebody else, don't say
Yeah,
it to yourself. So
yeah.
just start being a little bit more kinder to yourself, and it goes such a long way because what we start saying out loud, it recognizes in our mind, and then you start to believe it. So just start saying things kinder. Just, if you don't want to go all out and saying that you're beautiful and, all this stuff, just say, you're a good person. I'm a good person. And just say kinder words to yourself that you would say to somebody else, because I think that, we're too harsh on ourselves and we give ourselves so much of a hard time.
Definitely, definitely, definitely. I can resonate with that. So, Christine, tell people where they can find you. Have you got any freebies for us? Tell us all those
Yeah,
things.
they can jump onto my website, which is www.christine-innes, so it's INNES.com. And if they sign up on the mailing list, they get my free goddess mantra, which is just a beautiful saying that they can say. It's an affirmation that really allows you to bring out your true light within yourself as well. So they can have that, and they can go through and have a look at all the different programs that I offer. And it's very exciting because I now have a monthly membership for women to come on just such a soulful journey, and they can cancel at any time. It's $97 per month, and they get all of my trainings. But in addition to that, they jump on a weekly call with me as well, so they can get a little one-on-one time.
Oh, wow. A one-on-one time for, what did you say it was?
97
$97?
Australian.
Oh, Australian dollars, yeah. So I don't know how much
Yes.
that is in pounds.
Yeah, probably a little bit less, I think, because I think the difference is so. But yeah, and you know, it's just amazing. Like the information that's in there is just all, as I talked about before, which is about your core values, like finding what lights you up, and you know, all those different things. And we talk a little bit, you know, a little bit of woo woo stuff and that. But if you don't want to do that, that's, you know, perfectly okay. And then, yeah, once a week we jump on as a beautiful tribe, and you know, you get an opportunity to put questions in there that I can go in and answer. So if there's a particular area that you're stuck with in your life as well. But it's really great for, you know, women who just feel like there's something missing within themselves, and just know that there's more to give, or there's more to life than what they're living right now.
Brilliant, brilliant, Christine. Thank you so much. So,
Oh, my
guys,
pleasure.
so guys, make sure that you say something good about yourself on a day-to-day basis. As Christine says, it's all about thinking about loving yourself, thinking about that you are enough, and being grateful, making sure that you
Yes.
are grateful for everything you got, because we should be grateful, because you know, wherever you are in the world, be grateful for whatever it is you have. So, guys, this is the Change and Grow Wellness Show, and we will be back next week. So, make sure you pop on, and I will see you then. So, take care.